Looks like fun here.
Yeah. All right, everyone. So I'm Mike.
I'm Nick.
And we're going to be watching some footage of Sonic Forces, the new game that's coming out soon. And the footage itself is going to loop a bit, mainly because we only have a certain amount of videos to work with. But I was able to play the game.
But this isn't you playing here.
No, this is not me playing.
Okay.
But the game itself is really, really good. It's got a nice twist to it. There, of course, there was a couple of questions I had for it. Some I can already tell that maybe some modern or classic Sonic fans may not, entirely enjoy the gameplay.
Okay.
It's sort of tethered to a new experience where you have now an avatar character. Like right now, we're watching this one here, like a bird.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
I can never tell with with Sonic characters.
He kind of reminds me of. Yeah, I know. He kind of reminds me of the bird characters from Sonic Riders. I think that was the name of the game.
Okay, that might have been inspired by that kind of design.
Yeah. So
got a drill weapon there.
I was lucky enough to talk, as I mentioned before, to the Sonic PR team, Aaron Weber, part of their social media team, and then Ian Flynn, who's actually the head writer of the Sonic comics. So right now, this is brand new footage of the actual main enemy, Infinite.
Infinite. Whoa.
As they call him, the new edgelord.
yes, definitely seems like one of those. Oh man.
Yeah.
It's just so different than Sonic Mania and the classic Sonic that I know and love.
Yeah, it is
very
completely different. That is actually a good observation, considering the fact that it's like a complete 180 from what Sonic Mania was or is. Yeah, this is almost continuing in terms of like I was sort of interested in the story because usually Sonic games are kind of hit and miss when it comes to the gameplay, but the story is usually pretty interesting.
So you're a fan of Sonic stories?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was super excited even to meet Ian, and he's the guy who basically made all the Sonic stories I like.
And so like that comic book has been going for like a pretty long time for a video game comic. It's
270 issues, I think.
Yeah, it's like even at times when the Sonic games that were coming out weren't always great, like apparently the Sonic comic has always just been going strong.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
They have a bunch of great characters. So I actually was able to ask the members of Sega, a couple of questions about the game. And one of them actually had to do with sort of a combination of the comics and the story of the game. I sort of mentioned that in the game you actually play as part of the Resistance. So it's almost like a darker version of like the stories that Sega's been gearing for Sonic. And I sort of mentioned how it kind of reminded me of the Archie Freedom Fighters. They told me that it was kind of like a parallel, but wasn't exact.
All right.
So, not to make the comparison, there is no technical freedom fighters here. They are the Resistance. They're their own entity. And they've got their own goals and everything else. But, of course, I'm sure the goal is to defeat Eggman. So, that's the parallel.
Yeah, that's normally what these games are about, right? Eggman's up to no good yet again.
Up to no good. The game itself is you either play as Sonic alone. I don't know if you get to play as the other main cast, the Sonic cast, but you get to play as either Sonic alone. There are certain levels where you have to do it's almost like a tag team gameplay where you actually play as the avatar character, and that's the custom character you get to make. And there's also another mode where you get to rent a character. And that is where you can play as Sonic, your avatar character, and you can swap out your avatar character for a rent-a-character. And the rent-a-character is actually an avatar created by another player.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it's uploaded online, and you get to basically get a randomized. I think it's randomized. They didn't really get into specifics, but I think you can either choose or get randomized of like a brand new avatar character with the new abilities and everything else.
Okay. Yeah, because I know that based on what weapon type you choose or whatever, you get different abilities from that. And then a lot of the avatar character is just like, it's just cosmetic. It's your customization, how you want them to look. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their idea was that it was almost like the crazier you get your character to look like, the better the the cutscenes are going to look, because whatever style you give your character is what's shown in the cutscenes.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, they don't always do that. I've just been playing Shadow of War, and you customize your armor and everything, and that's in most of the game. But every cutscene, he just has like his generic armor.
Yeah,
on,
like
so,
the standard stuff.
Yeah.
For some reason, the only thing that really like stuck to mind whenever I think of like changing your costumes in cutscene is always like Dead Rising.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's a kind of an interesting game. The mechanics of the Wispins. If you ever played Sonic Colors, Wisp were those little aliens that give you special powers. They almost like they're weaponized now. So right now, Drill used to be a Wisp that Sonic can use and drill underground. Now you can see that the bird character here is actually using it as almost like a defensive and offensive weapon.
Oh, interesting. And we have this boss fight again with some kind of cat avatar character.
I described him as almost like a mixture between a fox because of his tail. He's got the spines behind him.
Oh, you're talking about the boss.
The
here,
boss,
right?
yeah, Infinite.
Okay.
I kind of suggested that maybe he was a combination of Sonic and Tails, and I think I missed the ball. I guarantee that's probably not it.
Well, I've read a lot of stories online about combinations of Sonic and Tails in various ways, but they're not work appropriate, so we're not going to discuss those stories right now.
Ironically, that you mentioned that when I talked to him about how the avatar characters, basically you create your own character. It kind of reminded me of the OC community.
Right.
Yeah. Hashtag don't steal.
Yes. Yeah. Making your own custom guys and. The game where you Google whatever your name is, the hedgehog, and you Google image search, and you'll find all sorts of versions of it. And yeah, it's funny.
So I kind of asked them if this was almost like Sega's nod to the community, like they acknowledge that they're there. The fact that they get to create their own character in a game, as opposed to just sort of drawing or recoloring a character. Apparently, it's not necessarily an entire nod. It was almost Sega thought that it would have been a cool idea regardless to get like a custom character. And the fact that they know the OC community is there anyways, it's almost like a 2-for-1. They get to give a little nod to the community inadvertently, but they also wanted a cool factor of getting a new character, something you can create.
All right.
And for the characters you actually create, you can actually get different abilities, not just with the Wispins. So, like, if you right now the bird here actually has a double jump.
Okay.
They also mentioned that if you click the rabbit character, you get a longer invincibility state after getting hit. And they didn't mention which animals get this power-ups, but you can either start off with 5 rings when you start a level, or you always keep 1 ringer. When you get hit with multiple rings, you actually keep 1.
Okay, so there is pretty substantial differences between the types. Yeah.
So you want to pick your animal carefully.
All right, cool.
Yeah, and so there was it was fairly interesting about how the game was played. I think one thing, the game was really cool in the fact that when you got to play it, you almost had to strategize. It was no longer run and jump and like boost through a level. It was like if you're an avatar character, certain levels call for different weapons. So you almost had to, almost stop and slow down for just quite a second and go, all right, let's see. I have a drill. And I see a drill wisp, which replenishes your power up, and you go, great, I'm going to use my drill. And if you have a rent-a-character, you go, I know my rent-a-character has boost. I'm going to use him now because I can see that the power-ups are there.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, one thing I noticed, I played earlier this year at E3. I played Sonic Mania before it came out, and Sonic Forces back to back.
Yeah.
And playing them one right after the other, even in Sonic Forces, because here we're seeing like it's behind the back view, but there's also like 2D sections to the levels and 2D levels and everything. Like I died so much more in Sonic Forces, and it was because I was trying to play it like a traditional Sonic game, like Sonic Mania game where you just run.
I was doing the exact same thing. I died a lot more than they were expecting. I was telling them, I was like, I've played all the other Sonic games, all the modern ones, and I'm like, I'm pretty experienced. The only thing that tripped me up was the rent-a-character. The fact that you have to handle 3 swap outs, it really sort of confused me, and maybe that's just because now I'm starting to get old. I don't know.
Too old for Sonic, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe I don't have the twitch reflexes, or maybe the memory capability of remembering how to do 3 things at once.
Well, 3 is a lot. It's more than you typically have to consider, I guess, in a Sonic game. And
well, the idea is that there's a certain button that lets you switch between Sonic and then the avatar character. And then after you switch to your avatar character, there's a different button to switch to the rent-a-character. So you're almost having to compete with 3 different buttons to like swap characters and attack. And It gets a little confusing in my personal opinion. However, I'm pretty sure everyone else is not going to have that problem.
Yeah, well, it is a different thing, and like we were saying, the difference between Sonic Mania, which is such a classic Sonic game, and then this, which is it's a platformer. It's you're attacking with weapons and you're like strategizing about weapon types and everything. That's not something you ever have to do in those classic Sonic experiences, but it's a viable game type on its own, right? Like these 3D platformers.
Now, I actually had a little problem with actually the enemies.
Okay.
And I actually saw another person sort of reflect my concerns. Is that, as you can tell right now, like you're sort of jumping around. I'll get to those little circles in just a bit. But when you actually run into enemies, they just sort of stand there. Like here, you'll see what I mean right now. They don't do it like right now. They're not doing anything.
Oh yeah, they're not like advancing on you.
You get to a certain point and then they shoot.
Uh-huh.
But it's so slow that I don't think you'll ever get hit.
So they're more like stationary obstacles than they are like active enemies.
Yeah, they're like 3D spikes.
Okay.
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like
yeah.
they're just there to take up space. And I mean, maybe it's because we were playing the early stages. It's meant to almost ease you in, but yeah, I was sort of kind of saddened the fact that they're not advancing. Like I think Sonic Heroes had some robots that would see you, they'd be alerted to your presence, and then they literally just start running towards you.
Oh yeah,
Not
yeah.
fast,
You kind of saw it there with that row of them. Like they do aim their arms. I guess if you didn't hit them right away, they would get a chance to shoot at you. But it will be interesting to see in those later levels, like you said. Like, are there ones that are jumping around a lot more? Is there like shields that they're activating?
I'm sure. Oh, actually, that's a good point. I'm sure there's going to be like shield enemies or something where attacking them straight on is not going to work.
Yeah, yeah.
And this game right now actually introduces Infinite. I also sort of theorized that he had dimensional powers.
Okay, you got a lot of theories, Mike.
It's one of those things where I know my Sonic lore enough where I'm like, what hasn't Sega done yet? And the fact that they're getting classic Sonic in with modern Sonic in this game.
Oh yeah, that
and
is
then
part
with
of
the
it.
Avatar characters, I figured there was some sort of dimensional happening here. So
Okay.
it was a guess. No one confirmed anything, but I'm sticking to my guns.
This is all just pure speculation from Mike, but maybe it'll turn out to be true.
Yeah. Someone bet me.
Yeah. Anything else we need to know about this game?
Let's see. In terms of gameplay, it's pretty solid. Everything reacts very fast. Yeah, I made the mistake of doing boost enough where you sort of boost off a cliff.
Yeah, I did that too.
Yeah, so you got to sort of take control of both platforming and speed. So I like that actually. I like that aspect. But yeah, the game itself is fairly interesting. I can't actually wait to play it. We're probably doing the stream, not sure, but regardless, I want to check it out. I want to give it a chance. I know my enemy concerns are there, but it showed me enough positive where I'm like, this could work.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to create a character. So
yeah, there's some new things in this definitely like are going to be a dream come true for people that have been
yeah,
long-term
imagine
Sonic
the
fans.
OC community just being like, finally, I get to create my Babylon Bird character.
Yeah, and like, oh man, I can team up new modern Sonic with classic Sonic, and that's great. And yeah, do all that stuff together in one game is.
I mentioned that it was sort of a dark story. And they're like, yeah, but there's gonna be some lightheartedness too. Don't forget, it's Sonic.
Yeah, it would be weird if it was a completely grim, dark game. All right, well, I think that'll do it for this. Sonic Forces, I think, is out in November.
Yeah,
we'll definitely have.
It's the 17th or the 27th, one of those.
Yeah, check out the link in the description on YouTube. We'll have a link to more information about Sonic Forces and our writing about it. And then when it does come out, we'll have a full review. And anything else you want to say about Sonic Forces?
Not about Sonic Forces, but I want to thank Ian, Aaron, everyone else at Sonic. Thank you for allowing me to look at this game, and it was a blast.
Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.